The reason digital nomads get nothing done isn't because travel is bad, it's because the second that nobody's there to force structure upon them, the routine falls apart. I've been living in Buenos Aires for the past 2 months and this place could have absolutely destroyed my output. New city, late nights, no fixed routine. This could have been really bad. But instead I built a system that allowed me to be more productive than I've ever been in my entire life. Over the last 2 months, I've used this system to make more money than I've ever made before, make my fastest progress ever in the gym, run marathons 10 and 11, and start learning a new language, all while I explored a new city. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the exact portable productivity system that I built so that you can take this and become extremely effective no matter where you are. When most people leave their country, their standards absolutely slip. They forget about all of their goals and they just enter party travel mode. This will be really fun for a few weeks, but you'll get sick of it really quickly because you're not progressing or moving forward in any way. You're just sacrificing your future for today. The great advantage of being a digital nomad is that you get to both experience places and progress yourself at the same time. It's not as if you have a 2-week window where you have to see everything within a country and then you're back to your 9-to-5 job. You have the ability to continue to progress all of your goals, and then with the back end of your day, you get to experience and explore a new city. These last 2 months in Buenos Aires haven't just been the most productive months of my life, but they've also been the most enjoyable because I've got to progress and push my projects forward significantly, but also really get to enjoy and experience a new place. I was only really able to do this because I was able to build this execution system that allowed me to both get a crazy amount done and then use the back end of the day to have a lot of fun at the same time. Now, this execution system has 3 different layers here, and if you can master these 3 layers, you're going to be extremely effective, but also really get to enjoy the place you're staying. The first layer is the environment layer, and this really builds out our foundations. The goal here is to have a few things that sit at the core to create a really strong environment. What is a strong environment? It's simply an environment that makes it very easy to do the things that you're supposed to do and very hard to do the things that you're not supposed to do. Now, the first place to start with our environment would be our work environment. This is where we get everything done. This is where you grow your business. This is where the magic happens. So making sure this environment is really strong is very important. The beauty of the modern world is that this isn't so difficult these days. A simple laptop and maybe a portable monitor, if you would be so bold, is all you really need to build a really profitable business. The only thing that we want here is we want an environment that we want to be in. Some nice plants, some sunshine if you want it. It's all you really need, just one fixed location. I don't like the idea of going off to coffee shops to work. One fixed location to do your work, where you want to be. You can do your calls from here, you can record YouTube videos from here, you can build your product from here, you can do absolutely everything right here. It's very simple, just a place that you actually want to work. Now, you don't need some amazing office for this to work. I'm literally sitting in the corner of a living room in an Airbnb right now, but this is all you really need. Just one place that you actually enjoy being, where you can get your work done. Being able to sleep really well is going to have a huge impact on your energy levels, on your cognitive function, decision making, memory, a whole host of things is really, really powerful. So having a very strong sleep environment that you can bring with you anywhere you are to get high quality sleep is going to be very powerful. I have a few things that I bring with me no matter where I am so I can get really high quality sleep. Now, this has allowed me to average over an 85 sleep score. According to Whoop, which is a very harsh judge of sleep, living out of an Airbnb literally on the other side of the world with a 12-hour time difference, I've been able to maintain a very, very high quality sleep score using a few things and making sure my sleep environment's been really good. I want to make sure my sleep isn't getting disturbed by noise. So there's 2 things I use for noise. First of all, I use a Google Home or an Alexa. This basically plays pink noise or brown noise to drown out the noise so there's not a lot of disturbances in noise. And then I use earplugs just to reduce total noise. This just makes sure I'm not getting woken up by anything annoying. In terms of light, I'm trying to make sure that the room is as dark as physically possible, closing the blinds. I also add a sleep mask just so it's very, very black, just to increase melatonin production, make me fall asleep quicker. I also do a few freaky things with the light. So I wear blue light blocking glasses a few hours before bed. And I have this colored light, which I bring with me everywhere I go, which basically turns red a few hours before bed. So I'm not receiving a huge amount of blue light. Potentially controversial, but just something that I've been doing for about half a decade now. The final controversial thing I do is I wear mouth tape, but all of these things are basically going to contribute to me being able to fall asleep, increase the quality of my sleep. So no matter where I go, I can have high quality sleep, which means I have high quality energy. It means I have good cognitive function. I make good decisions. I take a lot of action. For me, it is extremely important. The final thing for the environment on energy as well is food. There's 2 really big things I care about for food. Firstly, eating high quality food, and secondly, not wasting a lot of time on my food. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of variety here. The first thing I did when I got to Buenos Aires is I realized, okay, what food is available and how can I hit all of my micronutrient intake for the least amount of effort possible? After I figured out what that was, that is just exactly what I've been eating every single day for the past 2 months. Now, I'm not saying you have to be as extreme as this, but you just want one less thing to think about here. I try and never cook more than once per week. This is a whole lot of time I have back and a whole lot of attention I have back. When I think about what am I going to eat, I don't have to think whatsoever. I just pull it out of the fridge. When we talk about friction, this makes it incredibly easy for me to eat the things that I'm supposed to eat and incredibly hard for me to eat the things that I'm not supposed to eat. Now that first layer is really strong at building out strong foundations, but what the second layer provides is a repeated set of actions that if you just do these actions, you know you're going to push your projects forward and achieve your goals. And then with the rest of the time, you can use that to actually have this freedom that you're looking for. This is the inputs layer, and the whole point of this layer is to figure out what are the repeated set of actions that I have to do to push me towards this goal. And also, what are the set of actions that I don't have to do? Because if you spend all day just doing actions, technically you're moving forward, but this just means you get absolutely lost with all of these really low return activities and you end up not having the time in the day to actually enjoy the rest of your life. So for any goal that we have, there's a set of actions that you need to take that are going to allow you to get there. And our goal is to identify what are the most effective actions that we can take to get to this goal. Because realistically, if you want to have the time to enjoy other places, then you have to get really strong returns on your time, which means you have to choose really, really good inputs. Because if you choose inputs that don't move you in a huge way towards your goals, then you can spend all day working and not move the needle. Whereas if you just spend your time effectively on the inputs that genuinely move you forward, then it allows you to progress quickly and have the time to do other things. This really comes back to the 80-20 principle here that states that 20% of the work produces 80% of the results, while the other 80% of the work produces 20% of the results. Our goal is to identify the big 80-20 activities here so that we can spend our time extremely effectively so that we have the rest of the time to do whatever we want. Whereas if we spend all our time doing these junk activities, we get extremely poor returns in our time and it doesn't give us the time to actually enjoy where we are. Assuming that you're actually sitting at the desk and doing work, then you want to be spending the time doing these big needle moving activities. Now, I break this down into two different sections here. First of all, we have the North Star inputs, and the North Star inputs are the most important inputs. Your North Star is fundamentally your main objective, the main goal that you have for your life, your number one priority. So to get to this North Star, of course, there are a set of actions, there are a set of inputs that you have to do. For most digital nomads, this North Star is growing and building your online business because we know that, okay, having this online business gives me the time freedom, it gives me the location freedom, it allows me to move around and travel around the world and do these things at the same time. So your number one goal, your North Star, is probably going to be your online business. Now, for your North Star, there will be multiple inputs. There won't just be one input. There will generally be a few inputs, a few actions that you have to do every day or every week to continue to push this business forward. Now, while you have this North Star, you probably also have some sort of side quest. You may have like a fitness goal. You may have some sort of other hobby that you're doing, but these are side quests. And because it's a side quest, by definition, it is not your main goal. It is not your North Star, which means it's not your number one priority. So we don't allocate as many inputs to this. I would say one input per side quest is enough. The goal that we're trying to do here is we're really trying to build out a set of standards that you have to live by so that every week there are just a bare minimum set of actions that you do that you know if I just do these actions every single week, I'm progressing and pushing forward towards these goals. I don't have to get to the end of that day and go, okay, I feel like I haven't done something. I feel like I have to do more because you know, okay, I have done the standards. I've done the actions that I know will get me to my goal. I can relax, I can feel happy, and I can actually enjoy where I am. So this is exactly what I built out for myself. First of all, what I had is my North Star, which of course is my business. Growing and building my business is my number one priority. It is my North Star. So within this North Star, I'm not going to go super specific into the inputs, but there's generally inputs related to product, marketing, and sales. There are inputs that I know I have to do every single week that will allow me to achieve this North Star, this number one goal, this main priority. So off the back of that, I have a few side quests. The first side quest I have is running. So I'm trying to hit the goal of running a marathon every single month. So for me to hit that goal, I have 3 specific runs that I do every single week without fail. This is one of my inputs and it's one of my standards. This has of course allowed me to be able to progress my running well, run 11 marathons in 11 months, and just keep progressing forward with this main goal, which has been really good. And this is all I've needed to do. I haven't had 50 different inputs. It was just the input of 3 runs per week. The second side quest I had was gymming. Really, this is some sort of bodybuilding goal. I'm trying to get in better shape. So for me to hit this goal of basically getting in better shape, increasing my muscle mass, what I'm doing is I'm going to the gym 4 days per week. I'm doing 4 lifts per week, and simply doing this along with some of the ways that I'm eating food, of course, that's going to contribute to this, but this has allowed me to get in the best shape of my life. And over the past few months, when I have been living as a digital nomad, I've made better progress in the gym than I ever have in my entire life, which I was very surprised by. The final side quest I have here is languages. So my goal here is to become conversationally fluent in French. To do this, I need to spend 2 hours every single day receiving comprehensible input. Now, I had a very similar side quest, but to become conversationally fluent in Spanish, my input was to spend 4 hours a day doing comprehensible input. I was able to get conversationally fluent within 7 months, so I'm pretty confident that this input here is going to get me to conversational fluency in French. But as you can see here, I have a set of standards that underpin my day and my week. I have my North Star inputs, my North Star standards, and then I have a few standards for my side quests here. And assuming that I just do all of these inputs every single week, I can be satisfied that this has been a really good week and this has progressed and pushed me forward. I don't feel like there's something missing. I don't feel like I should be doing more work. I'm very satisfied that, okay, with these current level of inputs, I will progress and I will move towards these goals. Now, layer 2 is fantastic at identifying the standards and identifying the actions required for you to hit your goal. But the big thing that this is missing here is, how do I actually take all of this from the theoretical into the practical and actually implement this into my day-to-day life? And this is where the third layer comes in, and this is the execution layer. When I think about the execution layer, I'm really thinking about how can I deploy my inputs into my day on a day-to-day basis so that I'm definitely getting everything I need to get done, and how am I also allowing myself to have the freedom to experience and enjoy living the life that I've actually built for myself. So I break my day up into 4 different sections here, and the first section here is the morning section. I really think about this like my morning routine, a small set of actions I do from the moment I open my eyes in the morning until I get started on my work. This will be a small little morning routine. The second part of the day here is the North Star inputs, and this is by far the most important part of the day, because this is really where you're doing the actions that you know are going to get you to your North Star, to get you to your number 1 highest priority goal. Now, this is here at number 2 very, very intentionally. Now, your morning routine won't really take up a lot of cognitive resources, but when you enter this second block here, this is really where you have the most potent energy. This is really where you have the best mental resources available for you to actually get a good amount of work done. And if this is where your number 1 priority is, then you put your best energy towards getting this done. So this sits at the number 2 block here, and the goal is to really do the inputs that you know are going to get you to this North Star. Typically for me, this looks like 3 90-minute deep work blocks. I know that when I've done those deep work blocks, I'm ready to move to the next phase. Now, a very important part of this phase is that I'm really making as fewer decisions as possible. Just like with my food, where I'm not thinking about what I'm eating every day, I'm not thinking about when I'm eating, I'm not thinking about any of these things. When I sit down to do these deep work blocks, I know exactly what I'm going to work on. I know exactly when I'm going to work on it. There's 0 decisions, there's just taking action. And what this is doing is this is removing a huge amount of friction between you and doing the actions that you know are going to get you to your North Star. So this is a massive, massive block here. This is the most important block of the entire day. When you look out big picture at, okay, what am I trying to get done? You're trying to get your North Star completed. You're trying to get to this North Star. So this is extremely important. The second section here is your side quest inputs. Now, this gets tacked on after you've completed your North Star inputs, because your side quest inputs are by definition a side quest, they're less important. Why on earth would you go to the gym, for example, before you've worked on your business? You've really just allocated a lot of mental and physical resources to a side quest before you've started doing your main goal. This makes 0 sense whatsoever. We allocate our best resources to our most important tasks, and then we allocate the rest of our energy to our side quests. This won't take a whole lot of time, but when you've completed your side quest inputs, we move to the final part of the day, and this is the freedom part of the day. This is really where you have to say, okay, I've done everything I've needed to get done for the day. I've pushed forward all of my projects. I don't have to feel bad now. I can feel really good. I've got everything done. Now let me go experience the world. Let me go experience my life. Let me go socialize. Let me go explore the city. Let me go to a restaurant. Let me do whatever I want. This is pure freedom. And this is the greatness about being a digital nomad, is that you have a lot on offer here. You have a lot of options. The only caveat I have here, there's two. The first one is that I don't consume online entertainment. So in this period, I'm not consuming online entertainment. I have to find a better way of using my time. This has been by far the greatest thing I've ever done in my life, so why on earth would I go back? That's very simple. And the second one is making sure that my bedtime is extremely protected. I mentioned earlier in this video about how important it is to have high quality sleep. So this freedom allows you to do whatever you want, but it should not disrupt the next day. In particular, it should not disrupt your energy levels coming into your North Star inputs. But that's really it. You have full freedom to do whatever you want with the day. When we look at overall, the structure of this is not to scale, this is more to scale here. Your morning routine will take up a very small period of time. The morning routine shouldn't be hard. You're not trying to do a bunch of different contrast therapy, and you're not here to do a 1 hour meditation and do a bunch of affirmations. Keep it very, very small and simple. It's really just a set of actions that you don't have to think about, that take you from the moment you open your eyes up until your North Star inputs. Now, this realistically will take a fair bit of time. This might take close to half your day, maybe a little bit less, but this is really your main goal. So of course you should be allocating your most valuable resource, your time here. The next thing will be your side quest inputs, and this really shouldn't take up a huge amount of time. These are just side quests. Realistically, you have to understand that side quests are part of your freedom. This is not a main goal. You do these because you like these, because you want these as part of your life. So realistically, this is just part of your freedom, but this will not take a huge amount of time. This might take a fifth of your day. Then the last part of your day here will probably be a third, if not more of your day, is just pure freedom to absolutely enjoy whatever you want to do with your life. When you live like this, not only is it that you've done everything you needed to do for the day, you've got everything done, but it means that your freedom sits at the other end of you having done everything you need to get done. This means that it feels so much sweeter. This freedom feels absolutely incredible when it comes on the back end of doing everything you needed to get done. Essentially, every single day, if you continue to live out days like this, it means that you're constantly progressing and moving towards your goals. A third of your entire life is spent in pure freedom, and during this period of freedom, you feel incredibly satisfied that you've done everything you needed to do to progress and push forward in your life. This is so amazing. When I realized that I could live like this, it completely changed my life, because it really felt like I'm just living the perfect day every single day. And the great thing about this system is that I can bring this wherever I go. This can be with me when I'm at home in Australia. This can be with me when I'm in Buenos Aires or when I'm in Mexico City next week. This can be with me everywhere I go, because it's a small set of principles that I take. It's a structure that I have in my life that I do not change. It's small environmental factors that stay with me wherever I am. This system you bring with you wherever you go, and it provides structure, but it also provides pure freedom. Now, if you're an online entrepreneur and you want help building out systems like this to turn distraction into deep work, then you can join the Modern Monk community. Within the first hour, we figure out what is your North Star itself, and what are your North Star inputs, as well as what are your side quest inputs. We figure this out straight away, and then we build out this execution system so that you can really be living the perfect days every single day. It's a great place to be. So you can join the Modern Monk community for free. I'll leave a link in the description below for that. For everyone else, I mentioned how good it was when I got rid of online entertainment. One of the reasons for that is it gave me all this time to approach and hit a lot of different side quests. So if you want to see exactly how I replaced online entertainment with side quests, then you can check out this video right here. So I'll either see you in the Modern Monk community or in that video. Cheers.